And we're live and back.
Yes.
We've been
Guess who's
off
back? Back
for a week
again.
because we've been sick and we're
Ugh.
still a little sick. Like, I don't know. And the flu really sucks this year. So we would suggest getting the flu shot.
Yes, please.
It won't turn you into an alien. We swear they're not taking your genetics and using it to clone you.
No.
And it
Well,
may prevent you from like losing a week like we just did.
Yeah, it was really bad.
And you can hear Kristen, she's still stuffy. I'm a little stuffy.
Yeah, I think it's sinus infection now.
And stuck,
It's
but
great.
we really do appreciate you guys' comments
Yes.
on our pages
Thank you.
about that. And thank you. And we are feeling a lot better than we were.
Absolutely.
And I just figured, hey, we just take the week off, So how are you doing? Hey, Greg Koss. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
You forgot to introduce us. This is Mulder. I'm Scully, and
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I want to believe. And speaking of that,
I do.
I have a kind of an interesting story real quick. I'll show you guys before we bring our guest on. Let me see here if I can share it. If I got the talent, so it says present. Did they change this interface?
Probably.
I think they did.
We weren't looking when we were in
Present
bed.
screen. Yeah, they did. I think it updated. All right.
Thank you, Greg.
Oh, there it is. Thanks, Greg. What's up, Nick? How
Hi,
you doing,
Nick.
Nick Sarlo? What's going on? Let's see if I can get to this. Yes, an article called "Invasion of the Barley Snatchers." All right, now look at this. People talk about crop circles, and we love crop circles, and I find them really fascinating, and some of them are pretty unexplainable, and in our humble opinions, but they cost farmers, especially in the UK, a lot of money. A lot of bloody money.
A lot of bloody money.
Yeah, goddamn aliens are kind of expensive. Right? And if you read this, it says farmers lost 30,000, I think it's pounds. Is it pounds or euros?
I think it was euros and it went to pounds.
Euro,
no idea.
pound.
I'm not looking that up.
We love our UK fans, but I'm
Absolutely.
sorry we haven't bought anything there. So I don't know how it works out. But 30,000 of whatever denomination you're using between 2018 and 2019 as a result of 92 crop circles of varying sizes. The wheat and barley lost over the period could have made 300,000 loaves of bread. And the flattened rapeseed, whatever the hell that is, could have produced 600 liters of canola oil. I'm kind of afraid of that. I don't want to plant any rapeseed.
Are you sure
that's what it says.
Grape seed, and it was.
I got my glasses on. I got my bifocals.
Say, not you. They didn't make a mistake. Oh no.
They've become under particular scrutiny this year for the unwelcome toll they're taking on farmers' harvests at the time of a global food crisis. Some people out there are screwing around with sticks, and people are starving. Aliens are coming down and people are starving. They're starving.
The New England accent coming out.
It's peaking out. Price per ton of wheat in London future markets has jumped 30% since 2021, while barley's price has gone up by almost 40%, making crop circles substantially more damaging to farmers' wallets. They wiped out all their wheat, around 3 or 4 tons of it. That's what it says. George Hosford says this, a tenant farmer in North Dorset. So that's from theguardian.com. You can check that out. So that's pretty neat. I don't want to stop sharing that.
That's pretty neat. It's
Some people don't think about. We talk about these crop circles, and then there's a cost. Everything has a price to pay for everything you do. So we've got a wonderful guest for you guys.
Yes,
today,
we do.
And we appreciate you joining us tonight. She is what we call a paranormal perfect storm with a smidge of Disney princess rolled up in a ball of sunshine. She's the founder of WyldWood Paranormal. Her name is Victoria Mundae. Let's bring her right on. Hello, Victoria.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me. And I'm so glad y'all are feeling better. Really.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. The flu's a bitch.
This was.
I heard it's gonna be really bad this year. So
it was. It kicked our butts.
Yeah, I was in bed for like 4 days. It was bad.
terrible. Like I took a day off of work, and I work from home. Like, and you never take a day off of work if you
No.
work remotely. It's like,
You know, I work from home too, and that commute is a bitch around the sofa. You know, I always get bogged down where the cat food bowls are. You know,
yeah, right. Yeah, we're excited that you're here. Thank you so much.
Yes.
oh, thank you for having me.
And is Lorianne sweet? Hey,
Hi,
Lorianne, how
Lori.
you doing? She says hello, Victoria.
Hello. I have my my life partner right here. You can't see him until he raises up because he's a tuxedo.
He's adorable. We saw him just before we went on live.
Yes.
And his name is Toby.
Mhm.
If you see Toby's little head pop up,
Yep.
that's Toby you're looking at.
Hey, Greg. Yeah, he's named after Toby Hooper, who he and my husband were friends. So, hey, Greg. So,
And Toby, of course,
yeah.
created the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, among some other very notable movies.
yeah, we actually, Toby Hooper had passed the day before Hurricane Harvey hit, and then I pulled him out of the waters during Hurricane Harvey. I'm like, well, got another one. I guess your name's Toby, you know. And so brought him upstairs and was like, hey, I got another cat.
That's how that rolls.
Yeah.
And, now you got Toby the cat. That's cool. I think Toby's a good name for a cat.
Oh yeah, it's so underrated. I mean, and I spell it with a T.
Is.
T-O-B.
There's a lot of dogs named Toby. I've
Yeah,
noticed.
there is.
Dogs, it's really a common dog name. We had a dog in our family named Toby,
Aw.
but cats, it's a rarity. So that's a cool cat name.
Our friend James Anito and Celine Beanie.
Yeah, they have
a
a Toby.
Toby.
They do.
Mhm.
They
Oh,
have
I
a
know
little
James.
Toby running around. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And
we do.
Toby is also the name of a what do you call it? The hoodoo. You put it in your pocket. Little bag.
The
What's that?
Mojo bag.
Mojo bag. Thank you.
You're welcome.
See, I'm still sick.
It's okay.
Another name for a Mojo bag is a Toby. So that's,
Oh,
yeah.
did not know that.
Hi, Anne Marie Young.
Hey, Marie. Hey, Doug. How are you guys? So, Victoria, tell us, like, you know, we know you from Edge of the Rabbit Hole and seeing you on these kind of shows and stuff, and I heard some wonderful stories. And
Oh, good.
how did you get started in this stuff? Like, what got you motivated? Excuse me.
Life? I don't know. I mean, this is. I had my first, if you want to call it, paranormal experience when I was 2 or like 2.5, and
Wow.
been that way forever. So I was telling
When
Andrea
you're 2.5.
Karen about it, and I was telling her, well, there's this lady who showed up in my room when I was 2, and she goes, my mom and sister were in another room fighting, and the lady looked at me and she didn't say anything, but she was talking, and she goes, you're not like them, you're one of us. I'm like, huh? And she goes, you're not like them, you're one of us. I was like, what? And so and then the light started shimmering in the window, and I went back and looked, and when I turned around, she was gone. And so I was telling Andrea Perrin this story not too long ago, and she was, that was a shape-shifting ET. Like, oh, okay. Well, I had no idea all this time. I just thought it was the lady from Sleeping Beauty, because that's what she looked like, was one of the fairy godmothers, you know.
That's really cool.
Yeah, well, she is sort of an authority on these things, especially when they get into the extraterrestrial realm.
Oh yeah. I'm actually going to a UFO Skywatch party Saturday, so I'm excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
it's my
that's
first
cool. That's cool. You know, and one of the things we talk about this a lot because we get to talk to a lot of people, and I'm sure you know this. Most people involved in the paranormal seem to have had haunted childhoods. There are some exceptions to that rule, but it is something like 98% of the people we talk to, whether they're alien abductees, or they're just people that are just haunted or involved even in the paranormal, seem to have had some sort of experience. It's almost like psychologically you want to figure it out, or you want to go back to it in some way, which is real common with abductee phenomena. Like abductees seem to, want to stay connected to it, even if the experience wasn't like all that great, right?
Yeah.
It's a fascinating thing, and it's a statistic we noticed. Actually, James, I think, is one of the people you mentioned him before that didn't, and he's odd.
Yes.
Lloyd Auerbach was another guy, but like almost everybody else, like that we've talked to in like the 3 years or whatever we've been doing this, has some sort of story, including ourselves. In fact, we had very haunted childhoods, so I think that's fascinating. You're 2 years old, so what you see. And it stays with you. Now, what happens after then? Like through your childhood, do you have the interest in it, or does it, you get into normal stuff and then you kind of remember and get it back into it later? How does it work?
What's normal?
Yeah, what is normal?
Exactly.
Not us.
No, my mom kept telling me, "Oh, it's just your imagination. It's your imagination." Trying to play it down, I think. But my mom's side of the family are from deep in East Texas, so they're the psychic and intuitives, and they do all the herbal remedies and everything. And my dad's side is actually of German descent, and I mean no derogatory meaning in this at all, but they were Romanian gypsies, and they came over to Texas. Well, they went to Canada and then New York, and then they got lost for a little bit. Then they came to Texas. Yeah, gypsies, they wander. So when you get both of them together, that's me. And so I've always been really intuitive. And it's just, I've seen people in my family or loved ones right before, Toby scratching, right before they pass, they come and see me, or like shortly thereafter. So I mean, it's happening with my grandparents, my mom, my dad, my best friend, my husband. My husband hung around for 3 weeks, so
Wow.
geez. So it's just something that's always been there. And I don't really know what normal is. That is my normal.
I agree, and I understand this. I lost my father there in a year, and before he passed, it was like other relatives were coming in around, and it was like it's almost like a support group or something, and they were here with me, and I didn't live with my dad. My dad lived down the road, and it was just very strange. We'd have people on like psychics, and they'd say, "Oh, your grandfather's behind you," and that kind of thing, and it was very odd. It was a lot of phenomena, and when he passed, we felt like he was definitely here for some of that, and that is something that people talk about. There's like a window there when a person passes. It's almost like they try to reach out to loved ones. People have dreams, right? That's a common thing. But now, when you say they're around, do you see them? Like, I'm assuming there's some psychic ability here. Like, are you seeing them with your physical eyes, in your mind? You feel like an energy, or all the above?
Both. Kind of a third eye thing most of the time. With my best friend, I just had this gut feeling that there was something wrong, and so I was living down in Corpus Christi, and she was somewhere up in the Houston area, and so I tried calling her Friday, and I got the answering machine. I just felt like throwing up all weekend. I kept calling and calling and calling, and I kept leaving messages, and then all of a sudden the phone didn't work. I'm like, oh my God. And I was just weeping and boohooing and crying, and then on Monday, her mom called and said, well, we lost her yesterday. I was like, I have been calling since Friday. And she's like, well, yeah, about the time the phone was ringing, they were taking her out on the gurney to go in the ambulance, and she passed out, and she was in a coma. So I don't know. Oh, no, I just got goosebumps now. But I tried tracking her down, and like with my mom, she showed up right at the foot of my bed, right as she was slipping off into a coma. And I just always seem to know before someone dies, and that way I can start crying and grieving. And I think it's like those little buoys out in the ocean, the tsunami warnings, where you can get it out of your system first. So when it actually does happen, everyone else will start to fall apart. I'm like, I got this. I know. I'll go get something for her to wear. I'll make the calls. I'll do this. And so I've already got my crying. Well, not all of it, because it still goes on. I've already got a head start on the mourning process, and so I can take charge. That's the only thing I can figure out. I mean, otherwise, I don't know.
I can relate to that. I think we can, both of us, really.
Definitely.
What's up, Ken from the Wizard's Table?
Hello, Ken.
Wizard's Table. It's one of our favorite shows out there.
Yes.
Ken is our buddy.
Oh,
I think a lot of people get involved in the paranormal to kind of prove that there's an afterlife. But even knowing and we feel very confident there is, consciousness survives the mortal coil, if you will. It still, you feel the loss. You feel these things, and there is a sense of loss.
Yeah.
When people pass, of course. But I think maybe that is like another prime, motivation for people that get involved in this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Because you're an active investigator. You're out there. I know we got some stuff to play later for the folks. And, you've been doing this, a long time. So when did you transition from, having these kind of abilities to like, I want to go on an investigation?
Probably like 2 years ago, because I've never actively looked for it. It's always go, oh, there she is. So they come and find me. Like my house is active. I have shadow people here. I have a shadow cat here. My smoke alarms were going off. My smoke detectors were going off one night, and the house started filling up with smoke. And I'm like, oh my God, and I thought, I'm running around looking for what's burning. And when I got back in the living room, the smoke's all gone. So by that time, I already called 911, and the fire trucks are coming, and they're like, they go up in the roof or up in the attic, and they look and they go, you get a hole in your roof. I'm like, geez, it's a good thing we're in a drought, because it would have been raining in here,
Right.
And I just moved in. So they leave, and then I keep seeing shadow figures and things, and I'm like, okay, are you somebody I know? And the smoke alarm goes, me. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're going to do smoke alarm ITC. Is that what we're going to do? Me. This went on for like an hour or so. I'd ask a series of questions, and there'd be nothing. And then it's like, well, did you know blah, blah? Me. I'm like, okay. Are you doing this because there was a hole in the roof? I'm like, okay. So I don't know who else does smoke alarm ITC, but
That's pretty good. I
That
like
is
that.
actually really awesome. We really like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Smoke alarm ITC.
so
So
even
what
Toby
is-
sees them. He'll sit
Fire
up.
department would say like, when you said like I saw smoke, and they're like, okay, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're right, lady.
What are you smoking?
Nothing. I have no candles burning. Lord knows I don't cook. Bagel bites, and that's about it.
Right.
So there's nothing burning, and I'm like, well,
Oh,
I
that's
know.
awesome. So no, that's really cool. And I tend to believe that people are haunted a lot of times more so than the residents.
mhm.
People can have a lot of spirits around them and that sort of thing, and they can kind of bring the ghost on, and they're
Yeah.
out in the field or whatnot.
I think I'm kind of like a beacon, because everywhere I have lived in the last probably 15 years has been active and haunted. And my daughter was always going, sure, Mom.
Yeah.
Until she started seeing them too. I'm like, okay, did you see that? And then, we moved into a townhome a couple of years ago, and we were in the kitchen discussing where we're going to put stuff. And then we hear these two men arguing in the living room. And I looked and I was like, did you hear it that time? And she goes, yeah, it's got to be our neighbors. I'm like, we're in a house. We don't have people on our walls. There's two men literally like 10 feet away from us arguing, and they went away. So
Oh,
Well, a couple of comments out there.
yeah.
Linda Judd says, holy smokes.
it's because
LOL.
Reginald said holy smokes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That too. Well, we had smoke alarm ITC
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, that too.
It's a
Yeah.
double entendre, isn't it? I said that wrong, but yeah, that
We get that. Yeah.
we get it.
We're going to blame that on the
Greg
people.
Koss asks, "Can I hire you to be my smoke alarm, Victoria?"
I don't go up on the ladder. No. What men are for, Greg?
Linda actually asked a serious question. She says, "What is the easiest way to be open and protected at the same time?"
Seriously, the little ball of sunshine. That's no joke. I used to go to work and it'd be like, Snow White going to work. Hi, hello. And I'm just that kind of person, and I'm going out, and people would tell me, oh, I know when you're here. I'm like, how can you tell? Like, it just gets brighter. I'm like, okay. I don't know. So, but I also wear a pendant. It's Moldavite and Herkimer.
Nice, the Herkimer
Oh,
diamond, right?
Yeah, and the Moldavite, because that's
Yes.
extraterrestrial origin. So that actually, the first time I tried wearing it, I would be real jittery, and not that I was exceeding the maximum legal posted speed limit, but I might have been doing that. So you have to learn how to control it, so that's the same thing as like putting an energy bubble around you, because I would do ghost tours out in Old Town Spring, and I always photobomb and jump in the back of the pictures, and every picture I'm blurry. I'm like, why am I blurry?
Yeah, that's me after too much of this.
Yeah.
This is coffee. At least tonight, it's coffee. We'll go with that.
It's been
It's been coffee for a while, and keeping it coffee.
Yeah.
But I hear you. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we like Moldavite. I got a piece of Moldavite back there on the shelf, and it does have like a zippy kind of energy to it when you hold it.
yeah.
And it's a crystal that people can feel.
Mhm.
And as you said, it's not like generally a crystal, right? It's almost like a glass
Mhm.
from an asteroid impact, I believe.
Yeah,
in the
it's,
public.
I think the sand is crystallized from the heat and the impact. So it's getting harder to find. I've noticed it's getting more expensive.
It is, and it gets more and more expensive.
yes.
It's ridiculous. I go on, I'm like, I want some Moldavite.
Yeah, and it's
Uh,
like
like-
wicked expensive.
It's a lot of great.
Yeah.
It's wicked.
So no, that's good. So basically, your advice there, Belinda, is to stay positive, be that happy ball of energy, and keep things going. And
Be
Herkimer
so
Diamond and
lucky.
Moldavite wouldn't hurt either.
Just don't drive with them. But I've
Yep.
learned.
Yeah, right. We can't watch the speed limits.
Yeah.
Lorian says, I concur with everything you're saying.
Okay.
And Reggie says, I am beautifully haunted. I don't like the word haunted. I like being surrounded. That is a good way to put it, Reggie.
Yes, most definitely.
Reggie. And Reggie's a good guy. We did some ITC experiments with Greg and Reggie recently where we got some really good data. And Reggie put that together for us in a clip that I just saw today. Some of the answers we got back, we were communicating with who we believe to be Lizzie Borden. So that was pretty good from here.
Yes.
And Reggie had experiences in his house, like literally asked questions, like asked his, if you can hear me, Lisbeth, say my name. And the box that was here in a different state across the country says Reginald, like clear as day. It was wild. So that was fun. And we'll probably have that clip ready for Saturday's show. You guys. Let's see. Greg says, is it a genuine quantum empower pendant?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm all about quantum physics because I do think that is the whole reason for hauntings. It's not unfinished business or they're here to do something. That's just what people say. But once you start actually researching like quantum physics and, the first law of thermodynamics and everything, and you understand that the veil is not really just like a curtain that you go peekaboo behind. It's more like you have a stone of mica where it's layers. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the layers tip and you can see through it. And other times they're totally solid. So I think that when you raise your vibrational frequency, you can see through those layers and it's just easy. And when I'm driving, they like come at my face. So a lot of times I think a Ford truck is like coming at me. So I'm doing this. And my daughter would always go, what are you doing? Didn't you see that?
Right.
Oh,
okay. Right. I think manifestation has a lot to do with quantum physics and like the whole idea, like where's the electron and bilocation where it can be in two places and nobody knows until it's observed, right? I mean, we know that. And I think that is almost like creating our reality. So by thinking, putting those intentions in, and everybody says this, your intentions are what you get. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That you really are. Like you can get to a particle level and it's actually happening as you're thinking it.
Right.
When you say, raising your vibration, like what angle from like quantum physics does that fit into? Is that kind of like a string theory thing where we're talking about like dimensions?
Dimensions usually. Because when you start, not to keep going back to Snow White, but when you see everything in a Snow White frame of mind, like, oh, look, there's a car wreck, but thankfully no one died, and oh, look, the tree fell over, but it missed the car, there's always bad and good, but always look for the good. That's not Monty Python song. Always look for the bright side of life or whatever.
Yeah.
we love Monty Python.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, even in the darkest times, there's always light because you can't have dark without light. So I know some people, my mom was that way. She'd always call, oh, hi, how are you? So-and-so died. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Thank you. Do you have to lead with the punch? Some people like the darkness and that's where they want to, everything's a jump scare or everything's demonic or everything's, negativity or evil. And then there's like the flip side, there's me because,
Right. And you really wouldn't have one without the other. And then something to think about,
That's true. I used to do
ghost is if you never had a good day.
Yeah. I used to do ghost tours out in Old Town Spring and, it's hot here in Texas. So a lot of times I would be dressed very light and flowery and flowy and, and I'd be waiting for the people and they would come up. And so I would start discussing, the hauntings and my theories and, first law of thermodynamics. That's my favorite. And so after like 20 minutes, you're like, wow, we're ready. Where's the tour guide? I'm like, oh, it's me. And like, Andy is leading me on a tour through a haunted town. I'm like, oh, come on, And so by the end of the town or by the end of the tour, I would have even the most skeptics believing, because can't judge a tour guide by their pink, I guess.
That's awesome. So you've had a lot of experience. I know it when we first started talking about tonight's day, you were on your way to a haunted oh God, what do you call it?
A brothel.
Brothel. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, I am just awesome. It's the flu. I'm just losing my words. Haunted brothel, which sounded pretty interesting.
It was fun. And we
Tell
also did a jail too, so there was a lot of a lot of
Yes.
banging on the jail walls and stuff. And
Really?
yeah,
Where was that? That's in Texas, obviously.
no need to leave Texas. Down in Ballinger, which is kind of out in West Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called the Old Park Hotel. It's probably 120 years old or so, and every time I go there, it never disappoints. Chad Lindbergh was there this time, so he was the guest investigator. So he's in all the Fast and Furious movies, and
Okay.
he's in something else.
That's all right. We won't.
He's a famous actor that I.
Yeah, I was trying to use my ghost knowledge. I'm like, who? Chad? I don't know.
Yes.
Chad. That's okay. Yeah. Fast and Furious. Yep. Sounds good.
Oh, I think he was in Holes when he was a little kid. That movie.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
oh,
I love
October Sky.
Sounds
No,
good movie.
October Sky.
Ah,
He was,
wow.
he's
So you
really
guys were there at this haunted brothel,
Mhm.
and yeah, you said there was a lot of activity, banging on the walls.
Oh, there's always activity.
Brothel, so yeah, there's got to be a bad joke in there somewhere.
Ugh.
Ah,
There is, because you don't ever ask, why is he here? He's here for unfinished business. You don't want to hear that in a brothel. No, finish that business. Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry
Some
about that.
people could have died, before the moment came, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because
Sure.
people were shooting at each other a lot, right? I imagine people like kicking in doors. Yeah, I'm just thinking old westerns,
Mm.
A
Yeah,
six-gun
well-
shooter and you know what I mean? And they're in the middle of the act, and
I think we didn't have entertainment other than brothels here at that time period, because every place I go, this used to be a brothel. So I was out in Mineral Wells, and there's this poker room, and so I'm picking up all this stuff on a really cool EVP of Spurs walking across the floor. It was really cool.
Wow.
But I'm picking up on this name, and I could tell that there were some people behind me, and they were the ladies that worked there, and they're like, "Oh no, it's two-time Tommy 2 times, Tommy 2 times." That's what they were calling him.
oh yeah,
Wow.
Like, Why?
yeah, right. It was, yeah,
It makes
Yeah.
me think, okay,
he rises again.
or he only goes 2 times and he's done. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, right. 2 times. Well, not 2 seconds, hopefully. Oh,
life is
geez.
hard in West Texas. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, you gotta have things to do, right? There
Their
wasn't a
button
lot
every
to do
time I
back then.
poop.
Yeah, just as the madame thinks the brothel is still in operation. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe.
I
Greg
don't
says
know.
TMI.
Greg.
Has 2 things as well.
Yeah, I see that. All right, Laura has a serious question for the buffoons that are hosting the show, and their guest. At least I'm the buffoon. Kristen's being cool over here. What does it mean when you see rain coming in? I have always felt, because I have water in my sorry, I can't make that word out. Chart. I'm a cusp. Oh, okay. Cusp, fire, and water. You're talking about
Okay.
astrology.
Water usually is cleansing.
Mhm.
So water and earth go together. Even the edge of a water goes up against like the dirt that makes the pond or the rivers or something like that. So water is usually cleansing. It's deep emotions. What's the old saying? Still water runs deep. It might be something on the surface, but down underneath it could be very turbulent. So that's a lot of water. And what was the other thing? Fire is always passion, energy, drive, strength. How'd you know I knew astrology?
Well, you got fans out there. So you do astrology. That's cool. I didn't know that.
I don't watch TV. Well, I don't have a TV. So
Really?
Oh, that's good.
That's-
That's good. I don't
yeah.
watch a lot of TV either. We like like shows, like certain
Yeah.
shows that are like more like the Netflix kind of thing, like their series will binge and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
I research stuff on YouTube, and if I'm
Yeah.
looking at a screen, and read, and that's it. I don't like.
I watch a lot of TV. I
Oh, I
watch movies like
We like the old movies, and
Yeah,
we like
I
old
do.
movies too, like old Vincent Price movies.
oh yeah.
House of
Aren't they
Wax.
great? They're like so underrated. Pit and the Pendulum.
Oh yeah. Oh, I worked in TV for so long. I was always a master control operator, and it's like the last thing I want to do is go home and watch TV.
Oh, yeah, well,
That's
that'll do it,
sure,
right?
yeah.
When it's your
Yeah.
job, you're like, yeah, the hell with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Enough of that. Let's go do
Yeah.
something.
Right.
Lorianne says that plus it was good income for a woman.
Yes.
During our conversation about the brothel.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was. It was. Like, I guess it was good income. I don't know. I don't know what the going rate was.
2 bits. 2
2
bits
bits.
according to Tommy.
And I've got a recommendation for Twin Peaks. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Very good. So tell us about this astrology stuff. So do you do astrology for yourself, for friends? Do you
Yeah,
do it at shows, things like that too? Do you read cards or anything? Any other divination?
I do it all. I don't have my cards with me. No, I don't have them with me right now. Yeah, I've been reading tarot since I was 16. I learned astrology because I never could figure out when people would always say, "Oh, Mercury is in your 4th house." I'm like, well,
No, what is
What
that?
does that
Right,
mean?
right.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
found out that I was actually born with Venus in my 2nd house, and I just had my Venus return. So I'm really excited about that because Venus is all about money. And your 2nd house is money, and my Venus is returning, and it's like going back and forth and back and forth. And so I'm waiting for the money.
Right.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. There's a lot to it. Do you work off people's like natal chart and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'll do them. A lot of people don't trust me. They're like, "What do you want my information for?" So
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the age we live in, right?
I'm going to open a bank account. What do you think I'm going
Yeah.
to do? Right?
Till your ID.
Tell me your time of birth and I can
Yeah.
get your certificate and your social security card. No, it
It's
doesn't
really
work.
interesting once you start looking into it because I'm a Libra. There's the Snow White with a 0 degrees Aquarius. So a lot of people think I'm an airhead, but I have a 0 degrees Leo descending. So that just basically means people think I'm vacuous in the brain. But in reality, I will kick your ass if you push me.
There you go. That
Yeah.
sounds like Kristen.
That
Uh,
exactly.
Maybe it's a blonde thing.
I think that was it's so weird. I was gonna say I think that's a blonde thing.
They go, oh yeah, you're blonde.
I'll do your chart for you if you want. Just
Okay.
Right
Thank
on.
you.
yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That's good.
Definitely.
We're up.
Because once you learn where your natal placements are, then when like some planet is in some sign, you're like, oh, okay, so how does that affect me? And it just gets spot on.
That's
Okay.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, see, we learn something every day.
Every day.
Victoria does astrology.
Yes.
Yes.
Didn't know that.
So, let's you send us
Yeah.
a couple of clips and we want to talk about your books and things as well because you're an author
Mhm.
as well and you have several like really good looking books here and I want to get to that. Let me look here. Yeah, it's like my first time with the StreamYard. Way to go, guy. First time with the StreamYard.
Been away for a
Clicking the
week.
buttons. Yeah, I know we took a week off, man. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. They relabeled some of this stuff. I'm like completely lost.
Well, that's because Mercury was going retrograde.
That's right. Didn't we just get out of the retrograde? Weren't
Yeah,
we, like,
Gatorade. That's what
it was
on.
Mercury and Gatorade for like
Yes.
a month.
3 weeks. But that's always a good time to clean out your closets, both internally and physically. And when I came back from Ballinger, my closet had collapsed. So
Oh my God.
I'm an ambassador for the Texas Renaissance Festival, so I have all these really heavy dresses. And I came back, I'm like, oh, look, my closet, my clothes are on the floor.
Yeah. Oh my.
If I cleaned mine, I'd have all these skeletons. I wouldn't know where to put them.
Ah.
Jeez.
Well, I'm thinking there's got to be a positive message here. And so I got to see a friend. He came and rebuilt my closet for me. And, found some
Cool.
things I forgotten I had. I need to get rid of them. So,
Oh, wonderful.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're back in business with your closet, and the Renaissance fairs are a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. It starts this weekend. So, yay.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, it is. It's that season.
Yeah, it goes for 2 months down here.
Excellent.
That's same thing is here as well.
Yeah, we have it.
King
I have
Richard's.
that up here. We call it King Richard's Fair is the big one up this way, but
Mhm.
I know they're different like all over. So we have this clip, and it's just an audio clip. This one, and it says shadow person moving through.
Oh,
Do you want to set that up first a little bit before we play?
yeah. I was on an investigation at Yorktown Memorial Hospital. I don't know if you ever saw Ghost Adventures where Zach is up in this balcony and he rips his shirt off and he goes, "The nuns hate me. They're trying to strangle me," and all this.
Well, I
Wow.
don't watch a lot of TV. It was they were saying so. I
Same
didn't
place.
see that.
Oh, this
Wow.
is the place we were at.
Okay.
It was an old hospital and it's literally about to fall down. So I wanted to get in there before it fell down. So I'm down in the delivery room and I'm with my friend Michael, and it's a lot of windows are broken out and there's some exposed doors to the outside. So there's a lot of dust and leaves in there. And I'm like, oh, there are snakes in those corners. I am not going in the corner, and there's spider webs. So I'm not even getting over there. So I'm
right
kind of, I don't mind. Oh, when I was in Ballinger, you were asking if anything happened. Yeah, something was circling my bed the whole night. So
Oh my.
you could hear it walking. I'm like, really? Come on. I mean, we stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning. Just stop it. Anyway. So I'm in the delivery room with my friend Michael, and I'm leaning over the gurney, and it felt like somebody had put their hands on my hips, like they were going to scoot by because they didn't want to get in the spider webs. And so, we're not the professional ones. We were there with a professional guest investigator, I guess you can call her. And we're getting touched all night. My hair's getting pulled. I'm hearing things. I'm seeing things, And so I told her, oh, something touched me. And then I'm going on taking pictures. And then you can hear the guest investigator screaming in the hall shortly after. I go, oh, something touched me. So as I was taking pictures, I had my infrared camera, and you could see this lovely little purple thing going around, because I don't do orbs, like bugs or anything. But it looked like a flame, and it was just like in different spots. And then it went out the door, and then you can hear her scream. So,
Oh yes, I laughed my head off at this clip.
Yeah,
I really
this
did.
was really funny.
Was the what you said? I'll wait.
All right.
So everybody hears it.
You play.
oh God, something just touched me. That's professional. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just seeing if I could get whatever's on the way.
Hopefully you guys could hear that come through.
Yeah.
I love that clip because she is bugging, and she continues to bug. Like at the end, it's like, what the fuck? Like clearly she was a bit freaked out by what she saw.
It's just normal for us. I mean, I was like, oh, did you see that? Something just touched me.
But it was wicked funny. Her reaction, she just kept going and going and going, and we were laughing. Oh my God, it was so great.
Yeah, it was good.
I love her to death. She's a wonderful person. She's a good friend, and it was just so funny to me. Like, okay, calm down.
That's good stuff. So, what is the weirdest thing you've ever seen in an investigation, or maybe just in your home? Well, I gotta admit, the smoke alarm ITC is pretty weird.
Yeah, I really like that though.
Yeah, anything else like that?
Oh, my whole life is weird. I don't know. I mean,
You sound like us.
yeah. Well, a couple of years ago.
Okay, this is the normal paranormal.
Yeah. Well, I told you, I dress up for the Renaissance fairs, and so I was with my friend, and we had rented like an RV that we could stay in because it's way out in the middle of nowhere. And all night long, I'd been seeing a shadow person go in the windows, like, break the light. I'm like, there's something out there. She's like, no, there's nothing out there. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Nothing's out there. So I have about 7 layers of clothes on. I mean, these are heavy clothes, so I'm taking my leather off, and I'm taking the first layer off, and, and so I'm finally down to, I had bloomers, honest to God, bloomers. And
Bloomers?
Yeah, well,
What are bloomers?
Oh, well, I'm a
Sorry. Pardon my ignorance, but what exactly are bloomers?
You don't know what bloomers are?
Not really. I don't know.
They derived, or they eventually turned into ladies' underwear, but they're real long. So, they come down to the knees.
Like a pant-looking thing,
Yes,
like
so they
white and
have
frilly, and
yes.
go to like your calves or something.
Yeah, they go up like a little past your knees, and
Yeah.
yes.
So I'm wearing the bloomers, and I still have my socks and my boots on. I have all my shirts on and everything. And I'm bending over to do something, and something pokes me in the butt. I stand up, and I said, did you just poke me? And she's like, no. I'm like, no, why would I do that? And when she said that, there was an Afghan on the back of the sofa, and it looked like a finger went in the Afghan, lifted it up, and then just threw it over her shoulder. And I was looking right at it, and I looked at her, and she looked at me. I'm like, well, that just happened.
Yeah. Reactions. Yeah. Wow.
Nice.
Like,
Yeah.
well, what are you going to do? I mean, It's like, oh no, you know.
Larry says definitely not from Victoria's Secret in reference.
No, but they should bring them back.
Greg says, yeah, parachute pants. There you
Oh, I used to love those things.
go. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Showing our age, boy.
Yeah, you can't be bending over in your bloomers.
I know.
That's pretty
That's
wild. So I know we got another clip here I wanted to play. And if I can bring it over here. And this says Doreen Court EVPs.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, that Doreen Court is out in Old Town Spring, and there's it was like a Wild West town when Texas was first being, you know, pioneered, whatever you want to call it. And Judge Doring was brought in the early 1900s to basically shape up the town because there was prostitution and gambling, and they were murdering Native Americans, and there was actually like a mafia and a mob, and the railroad was coming in, as you know, children were missing, and so Judge Doring was basically a hard ass, and it has been reported that he liked his moonshine, but they didn't realize the moonshine that they were making from the rye actually had ergot in it, which is like LSD.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So he would go up to people, and you know, it's the South in the early 1900s. There was a lot of civil unrest, you know, right before the civil rights and all that stuff, and people were getting lynched left and right. And so he was half out of his mind, I guess, you know, and he would lynch people and he'd hang people, and he would leave them up in the trees for a few days. And the story goes that he was reported saying that it took God 7 days to create the heavens and the earth, and so he was going to leave people up there for 7 days to get the demons out of them. So people, you know, South Texas, we have rotting bodies in the trees, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I had no doubt of that.
Yeah.
Things are falling off, arms and legs,
Those days,
birds. So I'm standing on the back of the judge's house because, you know, Saturday night in Texas, what are you going to do? And you know, I have my new digital recorder, and I'm fairly tall, so I'm holding it way high in the air. And I was auditioning a young chap to see if he wanted to join my WyldWood Paranormal, but when he said, you'll hear it later, he's like, you know, come take my energy. I'm like, no, we don't do that. So, you know, so no, there's other ways to get energy.
Prison or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like driving past the prison going, hey, dude, you need a ride? Open up the car door. You know, you just don't do that, you know.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So you were there, and
there was the hanging tree, and then there was this really dark tree that had a lot of really negative energy over there. And I was standing over at the dark negative tree that I never wanted to go to, but I had somebody with me, so it was okay. So then we got the 3 EVPs. So
let's play that. This is cool.
Are you by the tree? Can you knock on something?
are you hung in the tree?
I can hear the other people. Come touch this green light. Everybody has walked away from me. I don't fear you. You don't scare. As a matter of fact, I invite you. Come see me. Touch me. Anything. Stay away from the girls. Come on to me. No, I'm not. It just feels different now.
Wow,
That
is such a cool clip.
Yeah. Like
Those are class A EVPs.
Exactly what I was just gonna say.
Oh.
One of the best clips I've ever heard.
I mean, it's almost as loud as the guy's voice.
Yes.
You know, he's inviting it to touch him
Yeah.
too. And that's his name, right? Is it Ricky?
I'm thinking it was Ricky, because, like I said, people were lynched out there. I can find no documentation of anyone named Ricky who was.
Yeah,
lynched there.
I'm sure there were some Rickies, but it's just so Ricky. And it's like a Scream or like an 80s horror movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I
what
think
was the word in the middle? That one I wasn't.
it sounds to me like he's saying the law, because that was a
The
very
law.
common phrase.
Okay.
My grandmother would always, when we were learning to drive, slow down, there's the law. The
There's
law's
the
over there, So, and it makes sense because I was on the back porch of the judge's house. So the law,
The law.
Yeah, that is awesome.
then his last name or his name again. So,
That's crazy.
Good reactions out there.
oh, thanks, Greg.
Yeah. Oh, that was wild. Ricky it actually gives us chills like hearing that. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my God. And
Hi, Debbie.
I'm thinking like whoever said that, he's like haunted as fuck now. Come on, touch me, and the thing goes, Ricky.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not Ricky. don't touch me anymore.
No, we didn't hear it. I mean, I played it back and I was like, it was like a week before I heard it. And I was at work and I'm like, I'm running down the hall and there's no one here to listen. I'm like, yeah,
Oh, you love that?
listen to it.
Then you'll find it like days later, like paranormal surprise or something.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of audio from this weekend. I haven't even
Gone through yet.
It's a lot of work.
Who's,
You know.
I'm lying. I have a lot of audio from last year I haven't listened to, but what I mean?
Yeah, no, we do too. I understand. We definitely get it. It can be like overwhelming.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you have a paranormal team there, WyldWood Paranormal. So
I am the team now.
you are the team. Okay.
The whole
All right.
purpose of it
We're
was,
Dark Horse Paranormal, so we get you.
Mhm.
yeah,
It's like us and whoever we go with.
Right.
the whole
That's it.
purpose of that was to give voices to the voiceless is what, and so I was looking for intuitive people, but everybody is wanting to do like, no, we saw this on Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters, or no, we need this, we need to do this. Like, no, you need to, right. For example, the night we were in Yorktown, I have really bad back problems. So I figured like, what the hell, I'm going to and it was like a 6-hour drive. So I'm going to duct tape some selenite to my back because, I was going to be sitting for a long time.
Mhm.
So when I got to the hotel room, and this very nice friend of mine, it was the first time I ever really met him. And he's like, you can share my room. So my friend and I were sharing his room. And so I get there and I take the selenite off my back. I'm like, oh God, my rocks are hot. And he's like, I'm sorry, what? My rocks, they're hot. Look how hot they are. They've been on my back all day. And he's like, you have rocks on your back? I'm like, yeah, it's selenite. So I explained it to him and he's like, I'm just going to start calling you hot rocks. Like, no, that sounds bad. So we were down in the basement and I could see, third eye thing, a janitor type person standing over by the furnace. And we had all the equipment lined up on something. I don't know what it was. And nothing was happening. And it was the standard line of questioning. Is anybody in here? Can you make this go to green? Can you make this go to red? Can you make this move? I'm like, oh my God. If I was a ghost, I'd be running out screaming. And so a lot of the people had left and there was just 3 of us down there. And I was like, well, maybe it's time for hot rocks to come out. And when I said that, all the K2s lit up. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
So
Really?
you like hot rocks, huh? And so, okay, are you talking about like my gemstones? Because I always wear gemstones. Nothing. I was like, oh, are you talking like a swimsuit calendar? Do you like hot rocks like that? It goes over. I'm like, okay, so whatever janitor person was down there, they retained their sense of humor. And maybe it's because it was a different line of questioning, if you want to call it that even. So he responded to that. So.
Wow. That's,
Wow, that's cool. We like selenite.
yes.
I love selenite.
Yes. Well, you got to see what we have here. One's my unicorn, I call it.
This is a wand, actually. And it could be, I don't know. You could do a lot of things with this, I suppose. But it's
Kill a vampire with that,
You
That's
could
right.
absolutely kill a vampire with that.
Yeah, I
Thank
have
you.
one. Yeah, I dislocated my arm, and so I duct taped it to my arm for about a week, and it was fixed.
And
Wow. That's cool.
that's anathema. And we're going to give ourselves a plug. We sell these at
Yes.
Paracon.
Oops.
And if you message us, we will sell you one.
Yeah.
Just going to put it out there. But we actually use these too. They're wonderful.
Mhm.
Love selenite.
I love the
It's really
energy.
neat. There's a
Mhm.
good feel to it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is
It's
that?
one of the different ones.
Good stuff. Hot rocks. Hot
Hot
rod.
rocks.
What we got?
I don't know. I'm gonna start
Hot rod?
calling you that though. Okay.
Yeah, you can tell that.
I've been called worse. So it's okay.
That's- oh, that's really cool. That clip was awesome. I really did like that.
Yes, most definitely.
No, thanks.
Cool. So let's talk about some of your books and
Yes, please.
bring,
Where to
bring
start?
these up. And let's see, I got to share my screen again. Now I get a new word for it. It's present. Okay, present screen. There we go.
Greg had a question as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get to you, Greg. Just one sec.
Okay.
Because
So
I'm
that's-
sharing the screen now. I'm already in motion. It's inertia. Newtonian
is-
physics is still working, unfortunately.
Right. That's something new Amazon is doing. They're doing a serial where you publish a chapter every so often, and I've screwed around. I've only done the first 3, and can you tell that's actually me with a Snapchat filter?
I thought it looked like you.
Yeah,
And
I knew
that's-
it was her, but I'm like, wow, she looks great.
That's the guy I dated, but we don't date anymore, so I had to take his name out of the book. Anyway, it's called Romancing the Tombstone. It's loosely based on a brothel.
Of course.
Okay.
course.
Oh, is it brothel by chance?
Yeah, it's very loosely based on the Old Park Hotel.
Okay.
So
I love
yeah,
it. I love the name, Romance on the Tombstone.
Yes.
That is awesome.
That's great eye catching as well.
yeah. So it's a Rebecca Winters story.
So
Yeah.
that is actually, let me go back to that for a moment. So this is a clearly like a fictional type book. So you write some fiction as well as
That's my very first fiction,
okay.
Wow.
which is why I'm slow.
Oh,
I think that's awesome.
I know how it's going to go, but I just, work. It gets in the way.
And,
That
my night in the most haunted hotel in Texas.
this past February, I had been laid off like the year before, and so I was really down and depressed and everything. And I hear voices and stuff like we all do, right? And so my voice woke me up one morning and said, "Get up." I'm like, "I don't want to." Boo-hoo. And they're like, "Get up, we're going. We're gonna do something. You need to change something. You need to shake this. You need to shake it." I'm like, "Fine. Where am I going?" They're like, "You're going to Jefferson." It's like, okay, well, that's like 6 hours from here. What am I going to do? And I'm like, we'll figure it out. And so there's a hotel there, and it is the most haunted hotel in Texas. It's called the Jefferson Hotel. It's very famous. And so I just looked online, and they showed all the rooms, and there were blurbs about all the rooms. I'm like, I don't want to read them. I'm just going to look at pictures. And so I found the one with a pretty bed. So I checked in. So I drive up there, and so the owner's like, "Oh, well, no one else checked in tonight, so you got the run of the place." I'm like, "What?"
wow.
I'm the only one here. And he goes, "Yeah, you know about this room, right?" And I was staying in room 19. I'm like, "No." And he goes, "Then why did you pick it?" I'm like, I didn't want to tell him. Well, the voice told me.
Oh,
That's what I told him. It's like, well, the voice told me to pick it, but I didn't want to tell him that because
Right.
he'd like me in. I was like, it had the pretty bed, and I just want to stay here. And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, this is the bride's room. It's the most haunted room in the hotel." And he was telling me all the things. I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, there was a man in here I was there Wednesday. So the man was there Monday, and it's like he checked out in the middle of the night. He just up and left."
oh man.
I'm like, "You're kidding. Wow."
Wow.
And so he's a very nice man, the guy that owns the hotel. And he goes, "Here's my phone number." He goes, "I got to run some errands. I'll be back in a little bit." I'm like, "Wait a minute. I'm the only one here." I've got the hotel to myself. And
Right.
so
That's awesome.
he said, if you sit on a bed, make it up, just keep it neat. And so I had the run of the hotel. And so, there's of course, themed rooms. There's one like the train room, and there was a rodeo room or something. And there was one, of course, it's a doll room. Good old dolls.
Yes.
Oh yes.
And they're like hanging from the ceiling, and they're propped up and they're 4
Oh,
feet
come on,
tall.
really? So they
what?
they go all out then.
It was, and there's these velvet ropes that go across the door. So, I'm looking in, and I was like, ugh, dolls. I was like, "Hey, I'm Victoria. I'll be walking down the hall. Okay. Can I take a picture?" And so I took some pictures, and I start walking down the hall, and I hear, I'm like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Oh, it's got to be motion activated. It has to be, because I triggered something,
Sure.
and I'm going down the hall, and then I go downstairs, and, there's an armoire. I'm a Southern girl. We got to open these things up. So I open it up and it's a hidden staircase. I'm like, oh my God,
Come on.
here I go. I'm going up the staircase. And all of a sudden it turns into a ladder. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going up the ladder. And then you push open the trap door and you come back upstairs through a floor. So I'm going through all these things, And so the funny part is when the owner came back, he's like, how you doing? You having a good time? I'm like, yeah. And when I went past the dolls, they started giggling. So that's like motion activated, right? He goes, no.
Oh, wow. Now, did he hear it too? And what did he think about it?
Has he ever heard it before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's used to all this. He's like, oh, yeah, it happens all the time. The dolls move, I'm like, okay. And so there's a lot of other adventures. I'm sitting in my room and I'm typing, playing on Facebook or whatever. Mind you, I'm the only one up there. They're downstairs way far away and I'm upstairs. And I'm telling my friend, okay, I'm here, I'm safe, and then all of a sudden I hear 3 knocks on the little side table next to me. And I just look over at it and I'm like, hey.
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 Hey. So I'm waiting. Nothing else happens. So I just heard some knocks on my table. That happens, right? And he's like, nope, that doesn't happen.
Now, do you put like any kind of credence into the 3? Do you think it's like kind of the mark of the devil? Like a lot of people say, oh, if you get the 3 scratches, it's a demon, and they put a lot of stuff into the number 3. Jesus, Mary, and Holy Ghost or something. I don't know. I think it's like I don't really
Holy
get into
Trinity.
the 3, but the Holy Trinity,
Velociraptor. Gotcha.
Velociraptor,
Sure. There you go.
lizards.
The lizards.
We got lizards. Yeah.
But it's like everything that happened, it was getting more and more intense. Like it was like basically like a primer, like a 101 how to scare somebody, and that next morning I heard something walking down the hallway and I'm like, okay, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm looking at my watch and it's 7 up, straight up. I'm like, oh my God. And it's getting louder and it's echoing and getting louder. And I'm like, shit, who the hell's up at 7 o'clock in the morning? Because the boards are creaking. And I could see through the door because the door didn't fit the frame very well. I could see like a 6 foot tall man doing this.
Oh, wow.
Like, are you looking in here at me? Fortunately I was still dressed because, you never know if you have to make a quick dash.
Sure.
Clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in bed. I'm seeing, I'm like, okay. And then it just goes away. And I'm like, okay, I have like 2 hours before I check out. I need to sleep. But then it didn't dawn on me until I got home. I didn't hear anybody walk back. So when I got back home, I sent a message to the owner and I said, can you tell me, was there anybody walking down the hall at 7 o'clock this morning? He goes, well, let me go look. And so he gets the security cameras, which are motion activated, and they tripped right at 7 a.m., but there is nobody in the hall.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Did he catch?
something.
Yeah. Any like figure or anything on it or?
Mm-mm.
Nope, nothing. Wow.
No.
Jeez.
But while I was there, I could, while they left me alone, I could tell there was a man standing down at the other end of the hall. And, I described it and everything and to the owner. And he goes, oh, I've seen him a couple of times. He goes, you know about Spielberg, right? I'm like, no. He goes, well, Spielberg was up here when he was filming Sugarland Express, except he was staying in the hotel across the street. And he saw that man. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And it scared him so bad. He got the entire crew. They left the hotel. They went like 25 miles down the road to the next town. And they stayed in a hotel there. And that guy became the Hat Man in the Poltergeist movies.
Come on.
Oh, come on.
I'm like, oh my God. So I'm on my phone, I'm like, it's exactly the same man I saw. See, down to the hat.
Wow.
So
Wow.
who knows who he is, but he's hanging around.
Jeez. All right. Well, that's really interesting.
Yes.
There was some questions in the audience I want to get to. And Reggie just had a comment. 3 scratches is due to the human hand having 3 longer fingers. The pinky and thumb can't grab on too easy. But yeah, kind of almost like talons, right?
Plus,
Especially
Nevermore.
Nevermore.
Like that. But Greg had asked, what is your favorite recorder, Vic? And this brings up a good question. Like, what kind of equipment do you like? If you not really following the shows so much, like how do you do your thing?
I have all the equipment. So, because that's what you do, right? You buy all the expensive
We got a
stuff.
lot of it too.
Toys.
And I never take it out. I forget about it, because usually I have a Diet Coke in one hand, and then, my phone's in the other. But I have just a regular. Did you have a Diet Coke too?
Oh,
Yes, I
that's
started
her jam.
drinking.
That's her
my
jam. Like, seriously, Diet Coke should be sponsoring
There
the
you
show because yes.
pretty soon.
4 out of 5 paranormal investigators drink Diet Coke. Anyway, um,
Awesome commercial.
but I have just a regular digital recorder that I usually use, and then I have a Sony bidirectional where you can take it and you go like that, and you can actually hear EVPs in real time. Because like if you scratch your head and you're holding the recorder and you scratch your head, it is so sensitive. But sometimes it's a little too sensitive if there's other people around. You pick up conversations way far away, so that's a hard one to use. But usually just those two, and then my my camera on my phone.
Yeah, pretty much basics. That's kind of our gig too. I mean, we have a lot of the blinky lights and stuff, but when it comes down to it, we are all about our recorder. For the most part, it's a lot of audio. We're kind of looking for those EVPs and spirit box stuff. We do like. We love ITC.
Yeah.
We do a lot of experiments with Greg. We're on Greg's show next week.
Yes.
Plug Metaphysical Crossings on the Shadow Hunters Paranormal channel. And we've seen you out there in the audience and chat and stuff.
Out there.
Yeah.
On there, and
we'll be back. We're gonna try to plan something fun for that
this summer.
That's on Wednesday.
With you. Yeah.
And good stuff. We really do like the ITC. I just think it's so interesting. And spirit box stuff is like debunkable to a point. There's a point where the odds of intelligent responses and the kind of things you get if you're asking the right questions coming back, it's just like it's phenomenal odds that it would work that way. It would just happen to be going across the radio. But I do understand people's point with it. EVPs are always better.
Oh yeah.
But that's really cool. And so you like the recorder? Yeah, you're our kind of girl.
Yes.
Lorianne asked, do you ever help any of the earthbound spirits cross over?
I did once, but I don't feel it's my position.
It's not commission.
No, there was actually twice, 3 times. 2 different places. But there was a lady who I was working with another group, and they're a Christian group. I'm not a Christian, and when they found out I wasn't Christian, they're like, "Well, thank you very much." I'm like, "Well, okay, that's got nothing to do with it. It's all about the intent you put out." But I get it. I respect you for that. But I went into the kitchen of the lady who was having severe depression, and she's like, "My dad's here. My dad's here. He was very depressed. He was manic, and I don't think he took his own life. But he's there, and he's very weighing down heavily on her." And so I went into the kitchen, and I fell over the dog gate. So it was like, the Three Stooges come in, "Oh, hello," And so, like, "Hi, I'm here. You want to talk?" And so they had something they called a coffin, which was like a little REM pod. And so the REM pod starts going off. I'm like, okay. And so the lady I was with had an SLS camera. And she was like standing way far away because I guess I was going to knock something over. And and so I was talking. I was like, well, I feel like there's a little lady here. And she's standing at the sink and she's peeling potatoes and she's really happy. And I looked over and I see the lady with the SLS camera. And she's just giggling like, I'm like, okay. And so I talked to her for a while. I was like, you've had a good time here. Just feel free to go on if you want. There's other things you can do. There's a great adventure waiting for you. And then all of a sudden I was about to start crying. And the lady goes, "What's wrong?" I was like, "It's just so sad all of a sudden. It's just so heavy, so overwhelming, And she said right about that time, the SLS figure changed from a little lady to a big, tall man. And so I was talking to the man. I was like, you don't have to stay here. You raised a wonderful daughter and she's got children and she takes care of this and she's very responsible and she loves you, but you can always come back and visit. You don't have to stay away. You can, give her some breathing space." And she said she went away. So, and then after that, the lady reported that the house felt a lot lighter. So I don't think it's as a human, it's not my responsibility or it's not my right. I don't think. Maybe they're here for a reason. I don't know.
Yep, that's very true.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's good.
Yep. I agree with that.
Let's see. What else do we have up here? Reggie had said if they don't want to go to the light, they are more than welcome to come hang out with him.
That's right.
Any spirits out there looking for a place to go? Reggie's place, it's all hooked up with cameras too.
Yeah.
He has like this crazy, it's like Darth Vader NASA style like layout in his house with like monitors and like it's pretty awesome when he's got going on. Yeah, he's constantly recording activity. See Steve out there. Hey, what's going on there, buddy?
Wrong, Kristen.
How you doing? He says, wrong, Kristen.
Like, yeah.
Someone goes, Kristen?
Yes.
Oh, and Laurie says, I'm not Christian. See? Oh, okay. All right. Little wordplay going out there in the chat. So I don't know what's going on. People are losing their minds.
Well, no,
But-
the group I was with, they said, "Oh, you're not Christian. You can't do this with us." I'm like, look, my personal beliefs shouldn't have anything to do with how I work. I mean,
Exactly. Some people
No,
do
yeah.
think like that, though.
Yeah, we're definitely not like that. We're not.
I'm like, and that's fine if you want to do it that way, because they said they're whatever. They gave me the sheet of paper to read off of, and I was reading off of it, and I was following along, and I had my St. Michael's medal or whatever.
Mhm.
So I was playing the game.
Yeah, I dig
Attention.
archangels, but I don't really like organized religion.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those kind of things. Linda says, I love your cat, Victoria. What's her name? And
That's Toby, Tobe.
Toby, which we were talking about on the show. Linda.
He's named after Toby Hooper.
Yes. All right.
He almost died. There was, when we moved here, something was really after him, and he was in the hospital 5 times in 2 weeks, and they ended up having surgery. Then the smoke alarm started going off, and I had to get all poltergeist mom. Here comes that Leo.
The Leo side comes out.
Leave my cat alone. Finally, they're gone.
Just flashed. Did you see that?
I did see that. That's why I looked.
Did your
up.
lights flash kind of in your room over there?
Mine?
Yours, yes.
Yeah, it did look like somebody turned a switch on and off real fast.
I'm here alone. Maybe.
Well, not anymore.
Well, I was going to say my husband hangs around a lot. But he doesn't bring a cold spot because I lived in Arizona, and that's all I really wanted was to help with the air conditioning bill. Please, like on those really hot days.
Justin asks, what's your favorite scary movie?
That would be my wedding videos. Yeah.
See that? Bet you didn't expect that answer, Justin. Linda says the light on the table at the door just flickered. I don't know.
That's a candle.
Oh, okay. So
Candle
that's
thing
the
going,
code.
but I don't know. Like it looks kind of look like the whole thing, like somebody turned the lights on and off.
Yeah, it did.
Reggie
That's why I was
says
like,
you're not there alone.
No, I live in actually, one of the reasons I moved here, I'm in a very haunted town in Texas. It's like extremely.
Well, yeah. Like I said, it's not always the residents, right? And
No.
you said pretty much everywhere you go is a little haunted. Well,
Yep.
Yeah. Just think on that. Just think. There's one more book we wanted to talk about, and I think this one it looks like there are other parts to it. Like it's a multi-part book. Would that be accurate? Let me share.
Oh, there's a whole story behind that one.
All right. Excellent. Let me bring this up. There we go. Victoria Mundae's Monday's paranormal activities.
Yeah.
Puzzles,
It's not what you think.
coloring pages, Sudoku.
Mhm.
That's how you say it, activities and much more.
Yeah. So I was
Dude,
starting to date, because my husband died. And if you want to read about it, it's in volume 2, The Feminine Macabre, that whole story. And so, it's when you're first learning, you're, trying to figure out what the person's like. And, I'm at the point now, like, I'm going to be honest. And if you can't accept that the paranormal is part of my life, then you might as well leave now. Don't waste my time.
Mhm.
And so I was talking to this one gentleman, and he's like, well, what do you do for fun? I was like, I really don't think I should tell you. He's like, no, what do you do for fun? I'm like, well, I paint, I draw, and, I do that kind of thing. I like movies. And he's like, oh yeah, me too. And I said, well, how do you feel about those scary movies, those ghost movies? He's like, well, yeah, they're okay. I'm like, well, what about the real ones? And, oh, thank you, Lori. And he goes, well, I don't know. Or, how much is Hollywood? How much is real? I'm like, oh, no, they're real. And so I started telling him about some of the brothel adventures. We've had some great brothel adventures going on. And he's like, what? I was like, okay, first of all, I don't lie because when I was in college, I went through a windshield. So I have no short-term memory, really. I mean, I can tell you what happened in like 1980.
All right. Yeah. I
What
hear
happened
you.
this morning? I don't know.
Forget it. God.
I'll remember that in about 10 years. So I start telling him all the things I was doing. And he's like, oh my God, you need to write a book. And I'm like, but it's nothing like the movies. It's not scary. It's, there's no jump scares. If something jumps out at you, you just go, hey there, do the guns, I was like, what am I going to do? Call it Victoria Mundae's Paranormal Activities, a coloring book or something? I was like, hey, that's not a bad idea. So there's paranormal activities. Because once you start, it's almost like meditation. Once you start thinking about things or looking at things or coloring within or without the lines or whatever, you start seeing things differently, especially with Sudoku or whatever it's called. You start using another part of your brain. And so you're opening up other parts of your brain. So I think it really helps when you're trying to be a paranormal investigator to get away from the, Zachs and the Jays and the Grants and all that. I don't even know who's on TV anymore.
Done first.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Get away from that mindset. Actually go out there and experience it for yourself, because I have a friend, I love her dearly, and she's like, I want to get into the ghost hunting. We need a team lead. We need a researcher. I'm like, why? Why do you need all that? Because they do that on TV? No. What you got to do is you got to get some moldavite and just forget everything and go straight from there, because that's going to kick you into a higher vibration. You're going to see things you never saw before. That's how you do it.
I like that. And I like the idea of the moldavite. We've used it on like placing it on top of the spirit box. And there's actually a skull back there. It's kind of a historical thing, where spirits habitate skulls and heads and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That we use with magnetics and the moldavite and other crystals.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about moldavite, and I think that's neat.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. So I did that in about a week, and I'm also teaching myself graphic design, because I had nothing else to do, because obviously I did not end up dating that guy. So I'm like, well, let me make a coloring book. So I made that. I'm like, well, this is fun. What else can I do? Oh, let me do something for kids. So now I have a whole bunch of kids books that are just like that, except they're like, there.
And there.
Right there.
Awesome.
I made the kids book little, because I'm thinking kids have little hands.
Sure.
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 But the pages are little and the puzzles are little and you can't see them. Damn it.
Well, that is true. Like when you remember when you're a kid, like what the size of rooms were, like the living room seems so enormous. I mean, it took a while to get from one side to the other.
So that was my daughter's idea. Actually, she goes, well, just make it a regular size book. Take all your drawings, put them in there, put some new ones in there and call it a deluxe edition. I'm like, oh, you're brilliant. So all the little ones that you can't see are in there. And then I did another one, the one after that, the fifth one, The Awakening, goes into like esoteric stuff and sacred geometry and triangles and 369 and why are those numbers important and, blah, blah, blah. And then the last one, Stepping Beyond the Veil, is for my witchy friends. So there's like a grimoire and color magic and plant magic and candle magic and seasonal magic and,
nice
manifestation pages and stuff like that. So it's a do-it-yourself.
Oh, we like that.
Oh yeah,
we're pretty witchy here on Dark Horse.
Yes,
Paranormal.
yeah.
Oh, well, you would love that then. That's my favorite one.
That is up our alley. Oh, fantastic. Well, that's really cool.
Yes.
That is cool. I didn't realize you had, I knew you had a couple of books, but I didn't realize you had as many as you do. So it's great. I want to get out there. Where do people buy these books?
They're on Amazon. So I'm currently, a friend of mine's helping me design a website. So it'll be victoriamundae.com pretty soon, probably hopefully by next week. But everything's on Amazon right now. And then this past June, I came up to this undisclosed town that I'm living in now. And they were having an event and they said, well, you can sell your books. They didn't put much stock in me, but I came up here anyway, one Snow White. And so I said, I kind of like this little town here, and I have a remote job. Why don't I move here? So I go on rent.com. I'm like, oh, there's a house. And I fill out an application while I'm there selling my books. I got approved. So then the next day I got a publishing contract from Beyond the Fray. So they want me to do another book. So hopefully that one will be out. Well, hopefully it will be out early next year. So
Wow,
Awesome.
that's awesome.
Awesome.
So
Love it.
that'll be your 10th book?
yes,
Yeah, is it 10
Yep,
all
it's
told?
10.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
she just said she had
Plus
book.
the
Wow.
cereal,
Yeah. Oh, I'm
So-
sorry. I'm reading comments too.
That's okay.
10 and a half.
Oh, yeah.
I like a deer in headlights out here sometimes. Like, oh, what? What's my name? And Steve's saying something about 410 and the cat, and that's your birthday. And like,
That's why I was
funny,
like 410. What is he talking about?
he says it's the cat.
I see that number all the time.
Yeah, we were always talking about 410.
Yeah, I
I
always
think
see
you
it
see
every
something
day.
on the screen that says 410. I don't know.
Cool.
He said it was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Justin says, I'll use some next time in reference to the Moldavite. I'm at Old Park.
Oh, I love that's my favorite place to go. I was just there this last weekend. So, I think I already told you that. Yeah, lots of
Wow.
fun there.
Linda says, souls who are caught in a death state where they keep reliving their death trauma seem to be able to find me. The first one was in a motorcycle accident on the highway. I was driving a washed out red spot, and I learned how to help them cross over. So, yeah, no, that's good. To our credit, we've got one. And oddly, his name was Toby, or at least that's how he identified himself, child spirit. And we got like some crazy communications with Toby that were very long and detailed and pretty good. And plug ourselves, we get that out there in a podcast format. If you look up Darkhouse Paranormal in your podcast outlet, look for Toby.
Oh
Won't
my
forget
You're
that.
fine. Hey, we got to be here for something too, you know. Go download it, guys.
Wow. Reginald's daughter was born on the.
On
410.
41007. See that? So the 410 is just popping everywhere.
Yeah.
And actually, what was it? Mega Millions? We went by tonight on
Oh,
the
yeah, it was
billboard.
410
It was,
yesterday.
410 like million
Like,
dollars.
sorry. Yeah.
And I said we got to play that, and we didn't.
No, well, because we're.
Now our numbers are going to come in
Silly.
Next time.
Next time.
There's always next week,
Yeah.
you know. How can you do? But that's cool. So
Yeah.
the witchy stuff. You want to talk about that a little bit? before we
What
go?
would believe
Are
that?
do you practice witchcraft? Are you
Yes.
into?
Not anymore. Because that's like the gateway,
Oh,
the gateway to metaphysics. You know. I remember being like in third grade. I don't want to say how old I am, but I'd run to the library every week, pull out the card catalog, go through it, and see if there's any new books on witchcraft. And it was only the Salem witch trial. You know,
Dewey
Yeah.
Decimal System.
that's right. We know the
Yes,
Dewey
we do.
Decimal System here, and
I love Dewey. You know?
searching for the witchy books in the library. I know exactly what you mean. We know.
Yeah, and I think that's how everyone starts. And then I realized, well, I'm not really a witch. I'm more Wiccan. And then I realized, well, I'm not really Wiccan. I'm more, what do you call it?
Like traditional.
Pagan.
Yeah, Earth religion type, like the Fae and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. No,
That's really not me. I mean, I embrace all of this. And then now I went to light worker. I'm like, okay, light worker. That kind of, that's me right there. I make people feel better. And do the healing hand things. I'm like, well, that's really not me. Now Andrea Perrin tells me I'm a hybrid, so I'm from Arcturan or something. And I'm like, well, I now need to find out what I'm doing now.
yeah. You were just on Andrea's show, right? A World Awakening.
Yeah.
Yes.
She
It's
was
an
in
awesome
San-
show. I'd give her a plug on YouTube. World Awakening. If you guys aren't familiar with it, Andrea
That's a good
Perrin show is a wonderful, great feeling. I love Andrea. She's awesome.
She's so sweet.
She's
I-
a real
I
sweet.
I ran into her in San Antonio, and it was like 97 degrees, and it was really hot and humid. And she was at Victoria's Black Swan Inn, which is like a Gothic Southern Gone with the Wind house on top of a hill. And she was at the top of the hill, so I'm hiking up there. I'm all red in the face, like Violet from Willy Wonka. So I'm trying to cool off, And so going to see Andrea, it's like standing in line to see Santa Claus. There's a long line of people. I'm like, I'll just stay back here till my face cools off. It never cooled off. And so I finally got up there, and we'd interview her a couple of times on Edge of the Rabbit Hole. And so it was my turn to go up there, and I already have her books and everything. And so she looked at me like, do you need to sit down? Do you need a bottle of water? And I'm like, are you having a heart attack? I'm like, "Hi, I just wanted to say hi. I'm Victoria Mundae." And she's like, I was like, "Thank you." She did not recognize me, so I'm so
A big
thankful
hug.
for that. Red in the face. So,
Did she give you a big hug at
Yeah.
that
oh
point?
my God, she gives the greatest hugs.
She really
She is
does.
a hugger. She is an awesome hugger.
She wouldn't let go. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Because, you know, in the South, you pat on the back
Energy.
and you let go then, but she wouldn't let go. And I'm like, okay. But she's a wonderful person. And yeah, I was on her show last week, I think. But Aaron Bush is a friend of mine, so Andrea's still traveling. So if you haven't seen it, you got. You know, after a while, you forget you're doing these shows. And I was just Aaron and I were just chit chatting and talking, and as she said, we squirreled. We went all over every topic you can think of.
Yep,
Yep.
that's my my thing. I squirrel.
Yes.
I am a haunted bag of squirrels.
That is my pet name for Kristen.
Squirrel.
It's a haunted bag of squirrels. So I always squirreling off on different things. Like telling a story. Like, oh look, bird.
Play.
Yeah,
Trying
it's like the whole night was blah blah blah. What were we talking about?
That's awesome. Yeah, and she's an awesome person. So
Yes,
that's
she
really
is.
cool. We live like right now we're about 20 minutes from our old residence,
Oh,
the Conjuring House, infamous Conjuring House. So
Yeah.
that's quite a thing and quite a place.
have you been there? I take it you have.
We have,
Yes.
yeah. We had some interesting activity actually in our old bedroom. Not that
Ooh.
long ago. It was a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
outside was
know.
on
It's
the
early in the
property
summer.
was extremely just
the whole place,
energy
yeah,
was
it's got a real feel to it. It's interesting.
Did they ever find like soldiers buried there on the ground? That's the last I
that-
heard.
We were talking about that,
yeah.
and Jen was talking about that there might be. They were trying to do was it ground penetrating radar
Yes,
to
yes.
find the bodies out in the yard. So yeah, that whole area is, I don't know. I think all this area is kind of haunted, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Yeah, most definitely.
But in particular, there is something about
it's
that.
your bucket list.
Yes.
One day.
And so, that's very cool. Where can people find you?
I'm usually right here in this chair every day.
Yeah, but you said your undisclosed address over there. You can't.
Yeah, I'm in paranormal witness.
You don't
protection.
really want people knocking on your door. Can you? What's going on, Victoria? You said you were going to be in your chair.
It's like my boss, I said I had to leave a little bit early today. He's IMing me. I'm like, yes, I'm still here. Just come in and wiggle the mouse every now and then, so it looks like I'm here.
So right now, Amazon is probably the best place to find you, find your books and
Find the
stuff.
books on Amazon. Yeah,
All right. You have some projects in the works you want to tell us about?
maybe.
Maybe secret
So-
squirrel kind of stuff.
This is the sign for squirrel. So apparently, Edge of the Rabbit Hole was all beyond my level of comprehension at the time. Mike did all that work.
Hello,
Chris.
Toby.
And
Yeah,
Toby.
and Toby. But apparently it was also on KG something R.
Kagra? Yeah,
Mhm.
KGRI. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. So when I was we were checking in last week and I was talking to Aaron, the producer's like, "Oh, that's Victoria Mundae." I'm like, "Oh, please." Nobody knows who I am. He's like, "You were on Edge of the Rabbit Hole." He was our producer for Edge of the Rabbit Hole.
Oh, wow.
I had
Wow.
no idea. Anyway, we started chit-chatting. He's like, "You should do a podcast." I'm like, "Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. A little busy this year." So I was talking with, if I tell you, you can't tell. Shh, okay? You and your 5 million viewers.
Exactly. Squirrel's the word. We wish we had 5 million.
So I was thinking, I had so much fun just chit-chatting with Erin, and like, I'm knowledgeable in certain areas. She's knowledgeable in other areas. And I have friends who are cryptozoologists, and I have friends that are UAP people, and I have friends everywhere, and we're all into the woo-woo. And I was like, we should do a show called The Paranormal View. I'd be like The View. Just,
Sure. Yeah.
bunch of women talking about, oh, and then there was a cold spot, Anyway.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, well, it's like, no, let's just change it to The Woo. So we may be doing a show called The Woo. I don't know.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, that is
I like
so
that.
cool.
So it would be probably at midnight.
I think that's great.
Ooh.
That is awesome. Well,
But I I talked to a few friends, and one's having surgery, so we got to wait for her to get healthy. And then Katie Grabowski, or Katie Page now, is like the head of MUFON in Colorado. She's like, yes, let's do it. So, it's like, okay, maybe, I got enough weird friends.
I think we all do. We all
Yeah.
have nice weird friends with a
Absolutely.
smidge of Disney princess and sunshine.
The weirder the better, you know?
That's right.
Well, life is all about the woo,
Yeah.
Yes.
Linda says,
The room with the that's cool.
there you go.
I like that.
Wu-Tang. You can get maybe license some Wu-Tang music. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. We got a couple.
I don't know. I really liked your open, so maybe.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this has been awesome.
Yes, thank you so
please keep
much.
us in touch. Stay in touch with us. And, people do know who you are. We reached out to you. Like, hey,
Yeah.
Victoria Mundae, let's get her on the
Crazy
show.
girl. Crazy girl in Texas.
It's been a blast. And I hope you had a good time, and want to thank you for joining us.
Oh,
And-
thank you so much for having me. Yes, I love talking paranormal and woo woo. Can't talk to a lot of people here about it. Yeah.
Excellent. And
Yeah.
definitely want to thank everybody out there that joined tonight. And Laurie, Reggie, Justin, Greg Koss, Steve Auclair. Give me a call, Steve. Steve and I are supposed to go footing, and you too. We're dragging you out. You're going footing with us. We're going footing.
Going
I've never been footing.
a footing.
We're going a footing. They have a Bigfoot here in Rhode Island, believe it or not. We got at least one. And but thank you guys. We'll be back Saturday. We're doing kind of another author night. We're going to have Clarissa Vasquez with us, with Chris Balzano
Yes.
on Bigfoot and the Bunny. And stay with us, Victoria.
Yes. Thank you again.
And that's all we got. So we'll see you guys Saturday. And thank you again for joining.
Yes.
It's great to be back. Thanks, guys.
Yes. Love you guys.